Hello, everybody. This is another episode on the Unsolved series. Today we will be talking about the truth behind the pillagers. The sad truth about the pillager species. Welcome to today's video. Today we'll be uncovering the truth behind the pillager. This is only a theory, but it has evidence behind it. This is also only a story that I thought would fit them the best, since most real-life things like this would happen to someone. A long time ago, in the time, just as the ancient builders became, one villager who worked as a clerk was just doing his job. Then he saw a possibility to make villagers smarter. He ran around all the world to gather all these weird and wacky ingredients and put them in his pot. Put them all together and made a potion. This made villagers smarter. So he ran through all the towns across the Minecraft world, spreading this potion to only a select few villagers. Only these villagers grew smarter and smarter and had the ability to build, pick up blocks and replace them. They would do this at an alarming rate, and these would be called the ancient builders. The normal villagers saw this and got angry because they did not get the powers of the other ones. So the villagers exiled all the clerks across the world, as they didn't know which one gave everybody the chemical. That, as a punishment, the villagers would soon elect new villagers to be clerks. One day, all these clerks found each other, and they decided to run away into frozen lakes. Do you ever see these weird structures in ice spikes, like giant brick towers? Or do you see basements under igloos? Well, this is where they worked, where they lived in exile, as their skin turned grey from being in the cold for so long. More and more villagers were exiled because they made mistakes in their village. The villagers saw this, and they would think that these people were too incompetent to be part of their village, so they would exile them. Hundreds of villagers were exiled into the forest, all exiled together. They all met each other, except for the few that were able to live in swamps and soon became witches. What they did is they ran into the forests, where they would find villagers, all as one gang, steal the villages, and when the ancient builders went around, and trap them in cages, converting some into illagers and some into evokers. As the illagers trained at their outposts, they would choose the best of the bunch to become vindicators, superior, strong, and would be armed with an axe instead of a bow. These would be sent out to guard the evokers in their habitats, or in their landmarks. And with the remaining villagers they took all other mobs that they could. Cows, sheep, pigs, all these weird creatures, and would run them through testing tubes in their ice spike bases. The evokers would cast spells on them and convert them into ravagers. One time, just as the ancient builders started to advance, the clerk started to advance, as in building more and more structures. One clerk, who started it all, went around to these villages, and he asked the ancient builders to help. So the builders saw what the pillagers were doing, and saw how they enslaved all these villagers. But in the beginning, He helped them get their powers to be able to understand the world in a different way. So the ancient builders agreed on helping them only once. The ancient builders would help them build large, scaling mansions in the forests, far away from villages. They would help them build outposts as a form of gratitude. When the builders finished, they said to the pillagers, "Why don't you come back to our village? I'm sure after this long, everybody will accept you." Soon they all agreed, and after a bit of time, they all ran into a village. They all walked in slowly as they approached the town. What they saw in front of them was terrifying. A 3-block tall, made of solid iron, and it was a golem, an iron golem. There was 3 of these golems, and they looked to be so powerful they could kill a pillager in one hit. As the pillagers walked through the town, the villagers gave all the illagers a death glare. The villagers still saw these people as outcasts, and not as innocent people who have paid their crimes. But one villager, the one who exiled the first one, the one who thought of the idea to exile every clerk, came out, still thinking that the villagers, these villagers who left, who were exiled, are still bad. He had an axe in his hand, and he tried to behead a pillager. He ran from hiding behind a house, and jumped out in front of an illager. The axe blew swiftly right through his neck as his body crumbled down to the floor. All the villagers gasped, and the villager who struck down this other illager saw a large creature on 4 legs, chains wrapped around him, and a giant sort of shirt for it. He looked in the creature's eyes and saw a normal villager's face. He realized what they did. He started trembling. He was scared. He looked up and saw the Ravager. He dropped his axe and realized what he did. The leader of the pillagers, a large, powerful evoker who was riding the Ravager, saw this and was enraged. He opened his mouth and said calmly, "Destroy this world." As he said this, the pillagers all loaded their crossbows. All the vindicators would run down, breaking all the doors. It was mass murder. All these villagers and pillagers would start hitting each other, but overall the pillagers would win. They would blow axe after axe down at buildings, destroying them, bringing them down. The illagers would shoot their bows, killing all of those that were trying to run. As the one villager who struck down an illager was crumbled down on his 2 knees, crying in pain for what he did to once his best friend. As the pillagers all around him would kill all 3 iron golems. Then, out of nowhere behind them, 5 ancient builders arose. But the ancient builders, at this point, had no chance. Gone. All their help decimated. everything they knew was all gone. Their entire village that they spent years working with, all gone to ash. These villagers were just all dead bodies lying around. These 5 ancient builders had no chance against them. Immediately, 2 of them were shot down, and the others will have a spell cast upon them by the evokers. As soon as the spell was cast, they vanished, leaving nothing behind. All the last remaining villager was taken. He was put on the ground, out right in front of the church in his village, and was shot by a firing squad of arrows. One last villager hidden in the barracks, within the table, under the table in the church, was looking. He knew they would kill him right there. So as they took their shot, he shot and he picked up a bow that he saw from a dead villager, aimed it, loaded it with a tipped arrow of harming 2, and shot it right on the leader of the pillager army's head. The bullet had piercing on it. It whizzed right through his skull, leaving nothing. As he fell with a big thud. He whispered to his best soldier, "Remember my words. Kill them all." As he collapsed, he thought to himself, as he was about to die, "They will never accept us, so we shall never accept them." As all his pillager friends would walk away, they would all leave the village left there. Ever since then, the pillagers have always been moving. They've been constantly moving around in their outposts, raiding villages, destroying them. This is very, very sad. If you want to know more, I'll just give you a quick in-depth about it. The villagers would soon then afterwards just go around. They would go around trying to raid more villages. All the remaining villages would be abandoned and left to rot. As soon, another species, another disease, a virus, would spread across the world, bringing these villages back to life. I hope you enjoyed this video. The story is sad, but I really think it could really go somewhere if I continued. This is more of a story than an unsolved thing, but I think it would really fit the true meaning behind them. It kind of makes sense, as evokers and clerks do have a lot similar if you look further into it. Also, I really think this would be accurate, because how else would all these villagers be left on the ground? They wouldn't have just died. They would have had to die to something. I think a little bit like more of the dialogue and the ancient builders dying would be a bit of a stretch. But I really think that the clerk being able to find the chemical that would bring the ancient builders to life is a really good concept. Also, the sense that their skin would be grey after being in the cold for such a long time actually also makes sense, because It's just kind of like common sense. The next story I will do is about Endermans, and who are they, actually. Also, there will be another video very soon after the Enderman one about what is the virus that took over the entire Minecraft world, bringing all dead things back to life. That video is going to be really exciting, so I hope you stay tuned for that. Also, what brought the beginning of the mobs. But yeah. Also, go to my channel if you're watching this. Please subscribe. It's free and it helps out a ton. Also, check out my Discord in the comments. If you have any ideas or just want to talk to me, then go ahead. Also, DM me the word apple to get a leak on my next video. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a longer one, but yeah, thank you. Stay posted. Goodbye.